you see the world today might change in just a few minutes.
A new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
There's a need for a new world order.
Realizes what I believe is our destiny of success in this new world order.
A new international order, free of the bipolar rivalry of earlier days.
We needed a new world order.
Broadcasting live from the dark and cold dungeons deep beneath the KLAV studios in Las Vegas, Nevada. Prepare yourselves to be taken away into another dimension as we now have control over your thoughts, fears, and perspective of the unexplained world you dare not speak of. With your hosts, Lindsay Knight and Michael Knight. Ladies and gentlemen, we now open the gates to the paranormal and beyond.
Broadcasting live from the KLAV studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, this is the Paranormal and Beyond. When it comes to dominating the world, the first thing that comes to anyone's mind is the New World Order, or better yet, the Illuminati. Last Wednesday, we had director and producer of the movie, NWO Secret Societies and Biblical Prophecy, on which Leonard himself took us through his extensive knowledge and research regarding this elusive organization. Well, guess what? Leonard Ulrich is back to conclude the final piece of this two-part broadcast, on which is to expose the sinister plot behind the New World Order and the Illuminati's agenda to take over the planet, including everything in it. So get ready, because straight ahead, Leonard Ulrich, when we return right here on the Talk of Las Vegas, KLAV 1230 AM.
You're listening to the Paranormal and Beyond. Join us at 731-1230. That's 731-1230. Lindsay and Michael return after this. Your ticket to the unknown is at KnightsParanormalResearchSociety.com. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, hauntings, mysterious places, and more can be found at KnightsParanormalResearchSociety.com. Knights with a K, ParanormalResearchSociety.com. Based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Knights Paranormal Research Society is owned and operated by the renowned brother and sister team of Michael and Lindsay Knight. Seeing is believing. And at KnightsParanormalResearchSociety.com, you're going to believe. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 p.m. to midnight, for the Paranormal and Beyond. Join host Michael Knight and Lindsay Knight as they investigate the unexplained and most controversial mysteries of the world. The Paranormal and Beyond, where the paranormal lives on and conspiracies exposed. The Paranormal and Beyond, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 p.m. to midnight. Brought to you by Knights Paranormal Research Society.com.
Just because you've seen it in the news doesn't mean it's real.
So you're telling me you got physically attacked by a ghost?
Like, I can tell you right now, I believe in the paranormal more than I believe in our government.
There are so many mysteries out there that are still yet to be explained.
You folks have some of your facts wrong, and you just keep talking about generalities.
With all due respect, sir, you have not brought anything to the table to prove us wrong.
This is the Paranormal and Beyond. and it's your show. Call us at 731-1230. Here again, Michael Knight and Lindsay Knight.
Welcome back to another brand new edition of the Paranormal Beyond. But first, be sure to check us out at Knight's Paranormal Research Society.com, where you can link up to all the past shows by simply clicking on that archive link above. That's Knight's Paranormal Research Society.com. Ever want to start a career in acting? Well, start acting right now by logging on to HollywoodBoundActingAcademy.com. Once again, that's HollywoodBoundActingAcademy.com. Special shout out to all those listening online through the KLAV1230am.com website, and all those driving around in the Vegas Valley listening to us on your stereos. I'm your host, Michael Knight, and alongside of me is your hostess, Lindsay Knight, your radio vigilantes, about to sing you a lullaby about the truth of the world today. All right, Lindsay, how are you doing?
I'm always doing good. How are you, Michael?
I'm great. I am great. I'm losing my voice. Radio is becoming a 24-hour affair. And as you can tell, a lot of people are starting to say I'm going through puberty again. But that's not happening. I guess I am finally getting the radio voice, right?
Well, I hope so.
Well, yeah, it benefits
I really
the show.
do.
All right, straight ahead, pretty soon, Leonard Ulrich will be joining us, and we're going to go through what we left off in the first half. And it was very interesting how you see the way this man thinks and puts the pieces of the puzzle together when it comes to the Illuminati and the New World Order. Leonard Ulrich is standing by and will be with us shortly. But first, let's get into the news.
Topping the news for the Paranormal and Beyond, giving you up-to-the-minute strange and bizarre news from around the globe. Mr. Ulrich Jones of Divine, Colorado, sought the ultimate revenge on his now ex-wife. In June, Mr. Jones was ordered by a judge to pay $3,000 a month to the woman he'd been married to for 25 years. Angry that his wife was going to give him a divorce, Jones pillaged the couple's retirement savings account of $500,000 and had it converted into 22 pounds worth of gold and silver bars. He then attempted to dump all of that into the back motel dumpster where he was staying. His lawyer, or her lawyer, said that was the most bizarre thing that he has ever encountered. The money was not recovered, and to this day, still wondering where those 22 pounds of gold and silver bars are at. Well, folks, Halloween is just around the corner, tomorrow, in fact. And a Norwegian shop is actually sparking much controversy over what they had done with their meat. Halloween is more than just a candy quest for children dressed in spooky costumes. Over the years, it has become a competition for adults who want to attract attention with their scaring techniques and frightening house decorations. However, a discount store from Norway pushed the envelope when they stocked their meat freezers with fake severed human limbs and other body parts, scaring children to death and making their parents' blood boil. The Europus discount shop thought putting realistic plastic human body parts in their freezers would help their customers get into the Halloween spirit. However, they were rather surprised to discover that parents who came in with their kids were furious after. Among witches and monster costumes, they found severed human body parts wrapped in plastic and packed just like ordinary meat products. The bloody limbs, which came from a made-up butcher called Chop Shop, not only looked incredibly realistic, they also came with nutritional information stickers, which only added to the gruesomeness of the whole thing. Safe to say, most shoppers were not amused. Topping the news for the Paranormal and Beyond, this is Lindsay Knight.
All right, I remember that seeing that they did this as a novelty, and stores had these, like, they look like the meat or the ground beef you would buy in stores, but there were like hands in there and there were like feet. So I'd understand if you seen a little kid going in there and viewing this, it would gross him out and scare him. So, you know, it is Halloween, but there is limitations on what you can do.
Actually, when I was younger, I do recall that they did do something like that. And I thought it was actually pretty cool. But then again, I'm morbid like that. So
Well, yeah, so
you
it
know.
defeats the purpose. I mean, you can have a real person hanging by a tree and you will love it.
But actually, I'm still wondering where all that money is. I want to go dumpster diving right now in Colorado, finding that 22 pounds of gold and silver.
So nobody found it?
Nobody found it, but...
well, look for the homeless guy driving the Ferrari the next day, and then that's where it's going to be. All right, we have Leonard Ulrich, who is standing by. So let's get into Leonard Ulrich. Our special guest, Leonard Ulrich, received his Bachelor's of Education degree in 1991, and also in 1992 topped it off with earning his BA degree in arts. Pushing his learning capacity to the limits, Leonard also acquires a double major in Western history and was also a certified teacher teaching for 7 years. In June of 2005, during a 3-day mentally violent period in his life, Leonard became fully aware of the New World Order and knew his skills as a teacher. Amateur historian, prophecy enthusiast, technician, and builder had to be put to good use. For the past 7 years to the present day, Leonard's extensive research and knowledge into the Illuminati is nothing short of remarkable. This has resulted in a film produced and directed by Leonard himself entitled NWO Secret Societies and Biblical Prophecy, which can be seen on Leonard's YouTube channel and is by far ranked as the most controversial documentary about the New World Order that has ever been released and put out. The Paranormal and Beyond would like to welcome back again and again to the program our good friend and all the way from Canada, Leonard Ulrich. How are you doing, Leonard?
Michael, Lindsay, I'm doing great, like the price of gold and silver.
Nice.
Hey, Leonard, we got a lot of people was interested in the first show, and they've been on the seat of their pants for this broadcast. So it's great to have you back. And we always welcome you. Yeah.
It's great to be back.
How is the weather out there? I know the last time you were on the show, you said that it was actually minus below. And it was really cold. How's the weather like now?
Oh, fantastic. It was minus 40 last time we talked. And now this week, the temperature has gone above freezing. So it's about 45-degree Fahrenheit change.
Looks like you don't need a refrigerator out there where you're at. Just put your stuff outside and you're good.
You got it.
Before we move forward, I just want to make this clear to all the PNB listeners out there. If you missed the first broadcast, that was Wednesday the 23rd, you can go to knightsparanormalresearchsociety.com and look up the archived show of NWO with Leonard, which is here today, and that will get you up to speed what we're going to talk about. All right, Leonard, let's get right into it. Let's pick up where we left off last week, and we talked about people in the Illuminati and famous people like we don't know about and their control and their purpose as far as the Illuminati itself. All right, there's certain figures that come to mind. How about Himmler, Goebbels, and Hitler? Were they part of the Illuminati?
The short answer is no. What they were just egomaniacs who indirectly were following an Illuminati philosophy of total control. Hitler, though, in Mein Kampf, which is a book that everyone should read, not because they should favor Nazi philosophy, but because they should understand from the man himself what it takes to control society. Hitler makes a reference in Mein Kampf to Freemasonry and how he was using the structure of Freemasonry for the Nazi Party. So it's quite interesting that even though Adolf Hitler was not a member of the Illuminati, he, like any other control freak, followed that philosophy.
The people that's right now practicing Freemasonry, I mean, are they aware of the Illuminati, or are there like certain levels to achieve that status within that secret society?
Most Masons, over 99% of them, are what is referred to as porch Masons. They're kind of like on the outside looking in. They're just gathering together to be quite honest, for beer and BS. And it's just an old boys club, and that's all there is to it. However, the structure of Freemasonry, with its thousands of lodges around the world, exists to weed out the cunning and the ambitious from the chaff. So that's why somebody like Barack Obama, who is a Freemason, a Prince Hall Freemason, rose to the position that he did.
So let me ask you a question, actually. We also, besides the Freemasons, we also have the Skulls and Bones. Is that just a fraternity in the college that is, I know that Bush is a part of the Skull and Bones, and there's a lot of other politicians that are in that society. Is that anything else besides just a fraternity?
It is. It is a religion. And people out there have to understand where I'm coming from. I am a Bible-believing Christian, and before you write me off, just keep in mind that my eyes are wide open, while many around me have their eyes wide shut. And the only way you can understand the New World Order with its dozens and hundreds of different cells is to compare it to the church. You've got hundreds of different denominations, but you all have very common basic elements, just different ways of getting at those different elements and different areas of focus. So the Illuminati and Skull and Bones and Freemasonry are just different denominations of Gnosticism on the thin edge of the wedge and full-blown Luciferianism on the thick edge of the wedge.
Well, then what about the Vatican? That's probably the biggest one of all.
Well, I highly respect Brother Michael Diamond. I've seen a lot of his work, and you can take it from him, being a Catholic priest and not me, being a Protestant, that the Vatican is definitely involved in the New World Order, especially when the Vatican about 1 month ago called for the creation of a World Bank. Now, why would we need that if we're not, busy pursuing the path of globalization?
Wow. Yeah, that's, what it gets to me. It's like during the first broadcast last week, it's like you can't believe anybody anymore when it comes to the government. And it looks like everybody's going to take it upon themselves when it comes to religion. And it sounds like the way I see it, I see like a coup d'etat come in within government when the people revolt against this, because it is scary. And talking about that last broadcast on the program, we were talking about wars also and how they are influenced by the Illuminati, whether it's control of money and power. I've also read upon that this goes all the way back to the Knights Templar itself. Is that true?
That is absolutely true. The Knights Templar were a centuries-long Christian heresy, and they were all about power and money and control. The Crusades, which lasted several centuries, were not about eradicating Jerusalem and the surrounding area of Islam. They were all about preserving knowledge and money and power. And the same thing exists today.
So that just evolved throughout wars itself, because with the Crusades and all that going up to the Napoleonic Wars and how that came about.
Yes, there's no difference between warfare sponsored by the church centuries ago and warfare sponsored by egomaniacs centuries ago and decades ago, from Napoleon to Hitler to today, even like Dick Cheney. It came out in the New York Times a couple of years ago that Dick Cheney wanted to expand the war on terror by having a couple of United States inflatable boats dressed up as Iranian boats and literally stage a whole new front to the current war on terror.
So as far as, what scares me the most is World War III itself. And do you think that will actually be some kind of, I would say, authentic excuse for it to pop off, or will it be like provoked? Because that's scary. And with the world today, with its nuclear warfare, how will that go down? After researching a little bit about the Illuminati, it looks like they're more siding to the point of mass murder than trying to program people. It'd be easier just to kill people off.
Well, I actually have a rebuttal on that one too, because you're talking about the war, the Third World War. If we're to go ahead and have a war, who's going to go ahead and fund that? Because right now there is no money in the bank, period, in the United States. So how are we going to fund this war? Because it costs billions of dollars to fund a war.
Very simple. The money will be just keyboarded up out of nothing. I have a collection of money at home, and it's quite a conversation piece. I have a $50 trillion Zimbabwe banknote.
Can you cash that in?
$6 for it.
Can you?
It's funny because somebody gave me a $50 Zimbabwe note, and I still have it in my wallet today because it's worth, I think when I went to cash it in, it was worth like 6 cents.
No, it's scary because it looks like the dollar will probably end up being like that in the future.
I'll tell you what, in the past 30 days, since it's pretty well clear that Barack Obama has signaled that he will raise the debt ceiling by $1.2 trillion, and Ben Bernanke has announced that he will essentially tie the U.S. dollar to the euro at a fixed relationship, and he will do whatever it takes to maintain that relationship, meaning money printing. Silver has expanded or grown by 25% in the past 30 days, and gold has grown in value by 12% in the past 30 days.
So like you were talking in the last show, the gold and the gold pretty much is going to be what's the new money. We're not going to be using the dollar.
That's correct. There have been hundreds of examples of fiat currency, meaning money printed up out of nothing, not backed by anything, that have failed, and not one example of fiat currency has ever lasted more than about 50 years. And since 1971, when Richard Nixon took the United States off the gold standard, we've all been living on borrowed time. It's all money created out of nothing. So you asked, how can they come up with money to fund the war? Well, it's very simple. They just have authorized keyboards, and they put us all into debt without any congressional hearing and without any real public discussion, and that's the end of it.
Well, isn't that what's happening right now?
Well, you would think so. I look at Iran, and the situation is extremely tense. It's an on-again, off-again, on-again, off-again war. It could go either way, and I'm very concerned about the operations of the USS Enterprise, which is right now pretty well at ground zero in the Strait of Hormuz. That is the oldest ship in the United States Navy. It was commissioned in 1962. It is a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, and it is slated to be decommissioned next year. Now, if some missile just happened to hit it and explode it, well, then we're off to the races.
Well, I would suspect that they're watching more than Iran, also Syria and North Korea, waiting for something to pop off.
Okay, so with 2014 coming up, I know there's a lot of speculation and concern involved. Apparently, there's a lot of talk about possibly an enlightenment. We actually don't know because we're not psychic. But do you think that because of what's happening in the world today, the hierarchy, which is like the Illuminati and the government, knew that this downfall was coming and they predicted this, or they actually made this happen with, as far as like the economy as far as the banks allowing people to purchase homes and what have you, and then let it fall so that way we can get into this debt?
Lindsay, you asked $1 million question. That is a brilliant question, and the short answer is yes. All fiat currencies have a life cycle. The average has been 26 years. The United States fiat currency has been in existence since 1971. So it's 40 years old, and it's had its day. It's done. So why not go out with a bang? Why not just print up all kinds of money, knowing that the system is going to die anyway, and then make money on the way up and make money on the way down through what I call the central banking warfare model of the economy?
Well, we've had many wars in the past. We've had millions of wars from the beginning of time. But from the past wars that we've had, from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War to the War of the Vietnam, what makes this particular, if there's going to be a third world war, different? Is that because of the nukes, or?
I mean, what is there actually to gain within a third world war? Is that for the implement martial law and the New World Order? Or to pretty much as a scare factor for other nations to unite as one and bow down to the United States or whoever popped this off?
In short, yes, yes, and yes. And control is the ultimate goal of all those who follow the Illuminati philosophy. You see, when you can make hundreds of trillions of dollars, you no longer value money. What you really value is control. And right in front of me on my computer screen is an article entitled Revolution, Flash Mobs, and Brain Chips, A Grim Vision of the Future. It's from April 2007, and the authors are the British Ministry of Defense. It's a very interesting article. Now, it's almost 5 years old, and it talks about electromagnetic pulse weapons, psychotronic weapons, brain chips, social unrest, the Middle East, Islamic militancy, terrorism, and climate change, and how this is all going to combine to form a very scary future. Now, this article is 5 years old, and the British Ministry of Defense and many other top government agencies, they're all joined at the hip. They have supercomputer models of thousands of teraflops, or trillion floating operations per second, of millions of variables, and they can plug in any variable they want into an entire model of planet Earth and get the result that they're looking for within 1 or 2 percentage points.
Obviously, they have every tool at their disposal for any kind of manipulation. You know, I did a show called The Fourth Reich, and it was the same way about them manipulating just everything in general. Are you familiar with the Fourth Reich?
Yes. The Fourth Reich is a reference to America. And that is quite surprising because people think, or most people think, that America and the Allied forces eliminated the Nazi movement. And my short answer to that point is no, they didn't. Because through Operation Paperclip, thousands of Nazi scientists went into the United States government. And one example of that is Werner von Braun. He was the chief scientist for the Nazi rocket program. He created the V-2 Nazi rockets. And lo and behold, he found himself at the head of NASA. And he's responsible for getting man on the moon.
You know what? That's pretty frightful. And what's even more scarier about this is that this isn't made up.
Well, I'll tell you what, all the experiments that the Nazis did on people as far as genetics is concerned and torture and all kinds of unmentionable subjects, that was like the ultimate temptation to certain control freaks in the United States government. And the Nazi movement just simply went underground within certain dark corners of the United States government.
All right. Now, you know, you were talking about experimentation. I've been getting a lot of emails on Project Bluebeam, and I looked it up, and the words I seen was New World Order and researched it more, and that's pretty scary in itself. Do you know anything about that?
I know a lot about that because Volume 3 will deal with this subject. And there are now hundreds of YouTube videos from around the planet of all these strange sounds coming from seemingly nowhere. Now, most of those videos are fake, but some of those videos are definitely real. And you can separate the real ones from the fake ones when you've got a local newscast covering the subject. And when I import the audio into Final Cut and I do a waveform analysis, you can tell whether or not something's been spliced together or just been harmonized. And there are certain ones which are definitely real, and most of them are fake. And this goes back, ironically, to Werner von Braun and the Fourth Reich, because it's very interesting. Werner von Braun followed Nazi philosophy. He just continued it in NASA. And there's a anti-alien movement called the Disclosure Project. And they're just trying to get to the bottom of this whole alien phenomenon. And in a press conference in the summer of 2001, before 9/11, a representative from the group named Carol Rosin came up to speak, and she recalled the conversation that she had with Wernher von Braun in the late 60s, pretty well on his deathbed. And he said, you know what? We're using this technology in NASA for control. And one of the steps is going to be terrorism. Now remember, Carol Rosin is talking about this before 9/11. And she lays out the plan that Wernher von Braun had in his mind. And the conversation that he had with Carol Rosin ended by saying, and now this is the last card. The alien invasion that we will stage will unite all humanity into a new world order. And believe it or not, that was echoed by President Ronald Reagan on the floor of the United Nations. He said, I can't help but think of what would happen if aliens were to come and threaten humanity, all be united in a global struggle against this.
Exactly. Well, that's my point. Hey, Leonard, we got a caller for you. Hey, Mark, you there?
Yes, Michael, Lindsay, and Leonard. This is Mark again. Leonard, I hope you got my letter, and I hope you enjoyed it. I guess the point I wanted to make to your screener, you know, we as Americans, we can't believe we're like the Nazis or the communists. Well, I hate to go off subject, but take a look at Planned Parenthood and the founder, Margaret Sanger, you know, the eugenics movement, calling Catholics reckless breeders, saying that blacks and Hispanics were a tainted trade. And, I mean, I hate to go off subject, but, you know, take a look at that, the founder of Planned Parenthood, who helped to prop up Nazi Germany.
Well, I agree with you, and you should keep in mind that Prescott Bush was a member of the board of Planned Parenthood.
Please, Leonard, you're preaching to the choir. I mean, the Bushes, the Kennedys, you follow the money, the Brofmans. You just, as the old cliche goes, you follow the money and you go down the rabbit hole, you'll find something, well, depending on your conscience and your intellect and such, you'll find something that may rock your world. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for your call, Mark, once again. Leonard, that's some pretty heavy stuff right there.
Yeah, Prescott Bush followed Nazi philosophy, and in my film on YouTube for free, I show you the documents cross-verified by 3 different mainstream media articles that show that Prescott Bush built the Bush family fortune in part by helping to fund the Nazis.
Wow, and from what I know that he couldn't run for office because he was a bootlegger. Is that true?
That goes back to his grandfather. I mean, the Bush crime family goes back generations.
So, Leonard, it looks like to me, I don't want to, our future looks so grim. I mean, with the money, the jobs, we're not going to get out of this debt. We owe so much money. Basically, it looks like China owns us at this point. Are we trying to be somewhat sort of what China has as far as their government and the way they run things?
The short answer is yes, because China is the model of how to control a society. Yes, in China you've got a growing middle class, but you generally have a vast underclass that are literal wage slaves. And that is the plan for America. As far as the globalists are concerned, Americans have too much money, too much freedom, and too much mobility. And that is one of the reasons why SOPA and PIPA are at the top of the agenda, because by controlling access to information, you control thought and you control action.
Well, to my understanding, SOPA and PIPA got blocked and did not really pass because of the votes, but I know there's other programs out there that are disguised like that will take over everything. Is there something that will get passed that will basically take all our freedom away when it comes to privacy alone?
Eventually, I would say it's probable, but we need to get off of our leather couches and get away from our big screen TVs, and we need to keep hammering the issue on our representatives.
Well, that's a difficult situation because that's the way the world is going today. As a matter of fact, I was actually listening to a radio program today, and they were talking about colleges now not using actual regular books. You know, Barnes & Nobles and a lot of those bookstores have closed due to the fact that nobody buys books anymore because everybody is now buying computerized devices. And now they're saying for colleges, instead of using actual textbooks, they're going to start using some kind of like an iPad book for like $15 a piece. So that's the way the world is going. So, I mean, how is that going to make a difference for us if we're actually going more towards electronic devices? So, I mean, people are so lazy, they're going to be sitting on their couches even longer. Nobody's going to want to get up and do anything.
Well, you see, that's part of the reason why I haven't had a television for 7 years. I've got a $5,000 video editing system, and I don't have a television. Because I can't watch television, especially the television news. I just laugh and I get upset and I want to throw a brick at the thing, and then I see all the cultural programming, and it makes me want to throw up. Like, I don't listen to Lady Gaga. I call her Lady Gag. I mean, talk about a brainwashed Illuminati puppet. I mean, she literally goes into a convulsion when somebody mentions God, and has to cover up her left eye. That is a sign of trauma-based mind control, where she has to go into this one eye mode, as in the eye of the phoenix or eye of Lucifer on the back of the U.S. dollar bill.
Well, you going back to saying about mind control, I'm going to go back to Project Bluebeam. That is also a form of mind control. And I mean, what exactly are they planning on doing with that? Because I mean, I remember watching a video last year on the one where they were in Africa and it showed the Virgin Mary reappearing. And that actually shocked me because I couldn't even believe that. I mean, I thought it was real. And now that I see it and I know about Project Bluebeam, I know that it was an actual fake, if it was. And I mean, I just don't understand what they're trying to accomplish with that.
Again, a brilliant question. The entire purpose of using electromagnetic frequencies to fake apparitions, to implant thoughts into your head, is to cause a certain reaction so you'll act in a certain way. And the New World Order is decades ahead in terms of technology. The bottom line is that all the videos that we're seeing popping up now on YouTube, that's beta testing. And you're literally going to have all kinds of apparitions which mirror or imitate Bible prophecy, so that those who aren't studying the Bible think that what is happening is from the Bible when it's actually from them.
So religion is a big part of this then, because that's what people base their lives on.
Yes, it is. And let me tell you, the New World Order is extremely religious. I mean, if you think I'm religious, you should get a load of what they write down. The bottom line is this, and this is not my opinion. This is just from quote after quote after quote. The New World Order is based on a Luciferian philosophy. They honestly believe that Satan is the good guy and Jesus is the bad guy. They honestly believe that Satan is here to enlighten us and free us from the control freak of Jesus. I mean, down is up, black is white, and wrong is right in their eyes.
So basically, what I'm getting from this, they're trying to implicate a New Age religion as well. And what I see, in order to control everybody, since religion is the top control factor in this, is you think they're actually going to try to play out the second coming of Christ to get everybody in a frenzy to run to their nearest apparition where they're all influenced by the Illuminati.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, all this is in the planning stages. It's been in the planning stages for millennia. But our technology has now advanced to the point where we can fake the second coming. We can fake or genetically modify a dead corpse, for example, to be animated with grain technology, grain standing for genetics, robotics, artificial intelligence, and nanotechnology, and literally resurrect anyone that they want.
I know this is an off-the-wall question, but you know about the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk Project, and I'm pretty sure the Montauk Project is still going on today, but I want to talk about, and I don't know if you know anything about this, but the Charlie Chaplin time travel. Do you think that with time travel at all, since the technology is so far advanced, that they've actually accomplished that? And maybe you've seen anything, if they have gone back in time, if there is anything of time travel?
Very difficult for me to answer that question because I haven't seen any evidence of it yet. But to try to answer your question, again, my answer is only based on the evidence that I've seen. I have seen a very, and this is quite concerning for me, a very sinister attempt to get into the spiritual realm to, in effect, jump from location to location in space. And I'm talking about all kinds of clairvoyance and blurring the line between science and superstition. I mean, it gets to the point where I don't know what is science and what is sorcery.
Well, at one point, I knew that science and religion did not mix, but it looks like they're starting to become one. And we're heading into the world of the Matrix here. And it's very scary what I see. I'm not, a psychic, but me too, when I watch the news, I laugh and everything looks fake to me now because my eyes are open. I've done a lot of research, and there's a lot of people out there who are still shut off by this and are just basically puppets or zombies walking out there and just listening to the news and all that. So how are we as people who are aware of what's going on able to fight this big, powerful organization?
It looks like we can't win, but we've had many victories along the way. I mean, we've delayed SOPA and TIPA. I can think of that certain Chinese dissident in Tiananmen Square about 20 years ago who literally stood his ground and while the cameras were rolling, stopped the line of Chinese tanks. I mean, if you think you can't win, then they've already won.
Yeah, the reason why I bring it up because technology is superseding people itself. Like you see the Terminator, machines are taking over. And like with this Project Bluebeam and also the HARP Corporation, which is what I see manipulating the weather itself, there's a lot of scary stuff and a lot of people will believe into that. But not only that, a lot of people also know the information such as media, social sites like YouTube and stuff like that are getting very aware of all this. So either something catastrophic is going to happen to wipe half of the population out because they're so smart now and aware, or either it's just going to be a head-to-head battle. But
well, victory lays in the hearts and minds of all those who are aware and awake. You can think that you're free by sitting in front of a television set and saying, God bless America, or you can realize that most of what you're seeing is actually fake, and realizing that the New World Order is the exact opposite of what you think it is, meaning the educational system is there to dumb you down, the healthcare system is there to make you sick and dependent, and the money printing system that we're sucked into now is there to financially enslave you.
You're pretty much saying, just like the Matrix, either take the red pill or take the blue pill and wake up and smell the coffee.
You got it.
So the Illuminati is powerful, but yet the human race is even more powerful. So the moral of the story is that we can block this and stop this from happening. The only thing we have to do is wake up and educate ourselves, right?
That's correct. I'm saving all my money in gold and silver. If I need a car or a computer or what have you, I will go out and cash out my chips, as it were, and get the toilet paper that I need to buy what I want at that particular time. Again, anyone who is stuck in digital dollars is just not going to get ahead.
Well, probably the more honest question I want to ask is that although there is people waking up, there is not a lot of us, and a lot of people are getting lazy to educate themselves. Is there another way to defeat the Illuminati?
Absolutely. The internet, while it is still free, is a fantastic tool. About 2 years ago, the Climate Change Summit in Copenhagen was essentially shut down because it was broadcast to the four corners of the earth that the science behind the global warming front is a complete fraud. And Al Gore stands to make billions of dollars, and he flies around the world promoting, less consumption of fossil fuels in his gasoline-gulping jet, preaching to us about how to live when, his Olympic-sized swimming pool in one of his many houses is heated with natural gas. So when you point out hypocrisy, when you point out the obvious staged newscasts and events designed to start wars, then people can not participate in their minds, and we can really put the feet to the fire of our elected representatives when we get the chance to speak with them. That's much more effective than protesting. Okay. To ask a very pointed question of your politicians and then have someone videotape you asking that pointed question and then putting it up on YouTube and letting that representative know that you're going to be putting this up on YouTube is infinitely more powerful than 1,000 people protesting.
Well, from what I see right now in the world that we're living in, mainstream media and the television is pretty much the main focus of mind control, because we pretty much listen and watch and do what we see on TV and from what the media says.
Basically, it looks like we're slowly being programmed into and being molded into what they want the typical human being to be.
I couldn't agree more. That's why I don't watch television. Unplug from the Matrix. Yeah, I mean,
Good point.
How can you tell what's real and what's fake when you're still plugged in?
Right, exactly.
Well, I mean, it's all fascinating, and a lot of people are intrigued about this whole Illuminati, and it looks like they have their hand in the cookie jar in every aspects of our lives, what I take from it,
It goes way back from the beginning, and look where we're at today. We are in the coming of times. We are living in the most advanced stages right now, and look where we're at. We are no closer than we are to the Great Depression.
Speaking of Great Depression and the situation we're in today in these times in 2013, do you think as society starts to crumble because not from us, but because of the government forcing us to live under their skirt per se, do you think they're going to force some kind of other false flag so where martial law can be instilled and they have total control at?
Absolutely. I believe that the New World Order is hyping, and they're using it for maximum psychological impact. That is exactly why you're seeing all of these beta testing examples of eerie sounds all over the planet. And then you got the wars and rumors of wars with Iran. You've got the potential default of the United States. We're being attacked on every single front to make it look like we and feel like we can't win and we can't do something. But in fact, we can. We can say, yes, I know that's fake. We can unplug from the matrix. We can save money in gold and silver. We can educate ourselves.
So God forbid that it does come to light and something does happen and the people are aware, but I mean, what do you do once it's already going on? I mean, do we dig a hole and hide, or we deal with it and move forward? And, because a lot of people ain't going to buy into that because of the YouTube and all the publicity it's already getting, they're testing. It's broad daylight. People are recording. Everybody has cell phones now, so with cameras everywhere. So, I mean, what do people do if it does transpire and it does happen?
We have to point out, with very careful analysis, like on what happened on 9/11, the best examples I have for determining what's real and what's fake is to watch the first 24 hours of the news cycle extremely carefully. Look for any anomalies. Look for the implantation of or inception of what we should be doing and how we should be thinking about whatever events the New World Order manufactures, and say, okay, that is how they're trying to steer me. I'm going to do the exact opposite of how they're trying to steer me.
Leonard, thanks again for being on the program. And like I said before, your documentary on the New World Order is by far the best I've ever seen out there. And it's very understandable. So tell us, where can people see this video or where they can contact you?
Yes, it's called New World Order, Secret Societies, and Biblical Prophecy. It is a 2.5-hour movie that usually takes people 4 hours to watch, because a lot of information is compressed into that movie. I encourage people to pause the movie and read the documents that I have on the screen. I don't like conspiracy theory. I like conspiracy facts.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Are you working on any other projects besides the one you're doing right now?
Yes, the movie that's on YouTube, which I just described, has 250,000 views already in the first 10 months. And I'm currently working on volumes 2 and 3, and you'll get introduced to that when you watch volume 1.
Once again, Leonard, thank you for coming back and joining us on the program. And hey, enjoy your Halloween too.
Leonard, thank you for coming on the program, and we hope to have you back again on 2014.
Can you believe it's already Halloween?
I can't even believe it's almost 2014.
I know, time is flying. Leonard's always a great guest to have on the show. And when his new volumes come out, I am going to get him back because he digs and digs for the truth. Well, Halloween is tomorrow. I don't think I'll be spending Halloween, as a lot of shows coming up that I got to work on. What are you going to be doing, Lindsay?
Nothing, actually.
Well, trick or treat to you.
You would think, being the paranormal business, we'd be into the Halloween, which we actually are. But this Halloween, we have so much other things going on.
It's been too busy, busy. I got dark circles under my eyes. Well, November.
Take the day off.
Oh, yeah. Well, November's going to be great, as we have some great guests for you that we're going to have on the program. Starting November on the 1st, just run down a couple. Can't go through them all. November 1st, we're going to have Stanton Friedman, which is basically the godfather of the whole Roswell crash that happened in 1947. He'll be on the program talking about his investigation. Can't believe that he was there to investigate this. And following that, on November 4th, we have a gentleman that basically very popular, and a lot of people remember this guy, and this is Uri Geller, as he'll be talking about bending your mind. If you know, this was the guy in the 70s. You couldn't turn your TV on or any magazine, newspaper without seeing this individual. So it'd be great to be speaking with Uri. And on the 8th, the Clementine Conspiracy, which is supposedly the biggest conspiracy when it deals with UFOs, and it's AKA Project Dragon. Sander Mulder has been doing an expose on this for a long time, and has this great YouTube video about this. Have you seen it?
I have. You know what? I have actually seen parts of it, and it's going to be such an interesting show because there's so many things that have, yet to be exposed, and I can't wait for that one. So.
Oh, yeah. Those are just a few of what's going to kick off in the whole first week of November. If you want to see the rest of the lineup, be sure to log on to tonightsparanormalresearchsite.com and click on the Paranormal Beyond tab, and you will see what's in store for all of you. Everybody out there, if you're going to dress up for Halloween, please don't dress up as a puppet, because you don't want to, entice the Illuminati any more than they already love you for.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Be safe and take care. Bye-bye.
Join us at 731-1230. That's 731-1230. Lindsay and Michael return after this. Your ticket to the unknown is at NightsParanormalResearchSociety.com. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, hauntings, mysterious places and more can be found at NightsParanormalResearchSociety.com. Nights with a K, ParanormalResearchSociety.com. Based out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Nights Paranormal Research Society is owned and operated by the renowned brother and sister team of Michael and Lindsay Knight. Seeing is believing. And at NightsParanormalResearchSociety.com, you're going to believe. Join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 p.m. to midnight for the Paranormal and Beyond. Join host Michael Knight and Lindsay Knight as they investigate the unexplained and most controversial night. Ladies and gentlemen, we now open the gates to the paranormal and beyond.
Broadcasting live from the KLAV studios in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the Paranormal and Beyond. When it comes to dominating the world, the first thing that comes to anyone's mind is the New World Order, or better yet, the Illuminati. Last Wednesday, we had director and producer of the movie NWO Secret Societies and Biblical Prophecy, on which Leonard himself took us through his extensive knowledge and research regarding this elusive organization. Well, guess what? Leonard Ulrich is back to conclude the final piece of this two-part broadcast, on which is to expose the sinister plot behind the New World Order and the Illuminati's agenda to take over the planet, including everything in it. So get ready, because straight ahead, Leonard Ulrich, when we return right here on the Talk of Las Vegas, KLAV 1230 AM.
You're listening to the Paranormal and Beyond. Seal mysteries of the world. The Paranormal and Beyond, where the paranormal lives on and conspiracies exposed. The Paranormal and Beyond, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 11 p.m. to midnight. Brought to you by Nights Paranormal Research Society.com.
Just because you've seen it in the news doesn't mean it's real.
So you're telling me you got physically attacked by a ghost?
Like, I can tell you right now, I believe in the paranormal more than I believe in our government.
There are so many mysteries out there that are still yet to be explained.
You folks have some of your facts wrong, and you just keep talking about generalities.
With all due respect, sir, you have not brought anything to the table to prove us wrong.
This is the Paranormal and Beyond, and it's your show. Call us at 731-1230. Here again, Michael Knight and Lindsay Knight.
Welcome back to another brand new edition of the Paranormal Beyond. But first, be sure to check us out at Nights Paranormal Research Society.com, where you can link up to all the past shows by simply clicking on that archive link above. That's Nights Paranormal Research Society.com. Ever want to start a career in acting? Well, start acting right.
How you see the world today might change in just a few minutes.
A new world order. A world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
There's a need for a new world order.
Realizes what I believe is our destiny of success in this new world order.
A new international order free of the bipolar rivalry of earlier days.
We needed a new world order.
Broadcasting live from the dark and cold dungeons deep beneath the KLAV studios in Las Vegas, Nevada. Prepare yourselves to be taken away into another dimension as we now have control over your thoughts, fears, and perspective of the unexplained world you dare not speak of. With your hosts, Lindsay Knight and Michael.
Now by logging on to HollywoodBoundActingAcademy.com. Once again, that's HollywoodBoundActingAcademy.com. Special shout out to all those listening online through the KLAV 1230am.com website and all those driving around the Vegas Valley listening to us on your stereos. I'm your host, Michael Knight, and alongside of me is your hostess, Lindsay Knight, your radio vigilantes, about to sing you a lullaby about the truth of the world today. All right, Lindsay, how are you doing?
I'm always doing good. How are you, Michael?
I'm great. I am great. I'm losing my voice. Radio is becoming a 24-hour affair. And as you can tell, a lot of people are starting to say I'm going through puberty again. But that's not happening. I guess I am finally getting the radio voice, right?
Well, I hope so.
Well, yeah, it benefits
I really
the show.
do.
All right, straight ahead, pretty soon, Leonard Ulrich will be joining us, and we're going to go through what we left off in the first half. And it was very interesting how you see the way this man thinks and puts the pieces of the puzzle together when it comes to the Illuminati and the New World Order. Leonard Ulrich is standing by and will be with us shortly. But first, let's get into the news.